Hi, welcome to 𝐂𝐿 Academy. Let's start our lesson with pre-suation negotiation. Let's have a look at the product sourcing stage first. Other people will have 2 or 3 products, which is okay. You'll simply repeat the exact steps outlined in this module, but with all of the products on your list, and then choose one to begin selling. Or for people with larger budgets, you may choose to begin selling numerous things at once. It's fine as long as you can handle it in a timely manner. There will be a lot of information to absorb and many new terms to understand if you're completely new to the importing game. But don't be put off by this. Importing is now quite simple, and anyone can do it. And you have no choice but to understand this method if you want to build a successful Amazon business. Branding and product sourcing are mutually exclusive. You'll essentially begin the product sourcing process when you notice that the products you've picked can be sourced with improvements and profit. You may move on to the branding duties, because you'll need your brand name and logo when placing your order. Moving to sourcing, it was already mentioned in the first module of this course that you will most likely seek for a supplier in China, as most items are manufactured there, particularly the types of items we're looking for a private label business. We'll focus on importing from China in this module because that's what you'll need to accomplish in 99% of circumstances. However, if you don't precisely follow the product selection process and instead choose for more innovative product concepts, there will be some exceptions. It's possible that the suppliers or manufacturers you're looking for are in Europe, the United States, or perhaps the United Kingdom. However, in many circumstances, the sourcing process is actually a lot simpler. Since all you have to do is verify that your suppliers are legitimate, which is extremely easy for Western companies to do, and negotiate with them to establish the best shipping and payment options, among other things. Another possibility is that the suppliers you seek are based in India or Pakistan, both of which are well known for their leather and fabric products. The fundamental principles will not change. Dealing with suppliers in Pakistan or India, on the other hand, is riskier because there are no affordable inspection services available. Furthermore, the accessible payment methods are not as secure, as they do not accept PayPal or credit cards. As a result, if at all feasible, stick with Chinese companies. If not, you can always import things from another country. However, pay special attention to the supplier verification process and payment methods. This step's main purpose is quite straightforward. You want to discover as many suppliers as possible for your products, then filter it down to 3 to 5 that appear the best. Then it's time to order samples and concentrate on improving the product. Finally, choose the best source with whom to place your order. Alibaba.com, on the other hand, is the world's largest B2B marketplace, with a focus on Chinese suppliers. Alibaba is so powerful because it is the largest platform and draws the most suppliers. It also has a number of security features integrated into its system, such as the ability to pay for orders with a credit card. There are also various stages of supplier verification in place, among many other things. All of the tasks and processes described in this module can be completed online from any location. You do not need to travel to China to meet or chat with anyone. All contact takes place online through Alibaba's system, which includes email and instant chat options. To use the Alibaba system, you must first create an account with Alibaba. It's a totally free procedure that just takes a few minutes to finish. You don't want to use your primary email account since certain suppliers can be really persistent and send you emails months, if not years, after you've contacted them. Alibaba will also send you a lot of emails, so you should set up a separate email account for this. It's time to start looking for suppliers after you've created your Alibaba account. So, you've received product samples from several suppliers, examined them, and decided on the best supplier with whom to place an order. Because you now have some leverage, bids and information from different suppliers. This is the ideal moment to do some negotiating to acquire better terms on your order. What are the most effective techniques to negotiate with suppliers? Number 1. Price. Obviously, this is the most essential aspect of the puzzle, as everyone wants to save money. You should, to some extent, strive to get the price down. Yes, telling a supplier that competitor X is offering the same goods at a cheaper price and asking them to match it is the most typical thing to do. It will work some of the time and some of the time it will not. But there's no reason not to at least give it a shot. Be reasonable while requesting a cheaper price. Expect the vendors to not halve their pricing. Quite the contrary. A typical negotiation would go somewhat like this. A supplier gives you 1,000 units for $2 a piece, but you requested $1.50. And in the end, $1.80 a unit is the price you settle on. As a result, you can save between 5% and 10% on the price. If you're lucky, you might even get a few more. Here's the deal. It all boils down to volume, or the size of your order, in the importing business. Because the majority of you will be working with suppliers on a minimum order amount, if not even that, you won't be able to expect any significant discounts. This isn't how manufacturers operate. Consider that for a moment. When a manufacturer requests a minimum purchase of 1,000 units, you negotiate it down to 500 and expect to receive significant discounts. It's not going to happen. Yes, if you were ordering 5,000 or 10,000 units, that would be a completely different situation. You can also save a lot of money. Most of the time, you will not be placing such large orders. So, in this negotiation, be reasonable. Another important consideration is that you want a high-quality product. Manufacturers will occasionally say, "Okay, we can do it cheaply." They won't warn you, though, that the quality will diminish as a result. As a consequence, negotiating pricing aggressively on small orders can backfire, and you may wind up with a lower quality product. Remember that the cost of the products will be a minor fraction of your overall costs. While every business owner should strive to reduce costs, you must evaluate which option is best for you. You must focus on product quality to obtain a 10-cent discount off the product's cost price or to improve your relationship with your supplier. It's not like 10 cents of an item you'll sell on Amazon for £15 or £20 is a deal breaker. Consider this: if your order is little, don't expect to receive significant discounts. Also, remember that product quality is always your top priority. Number 2. Minimum order quantity or MOQ. You can and should negotiate the minimum order quantity, especially if your budget is limited. Simply contact the supplier and inform them that you are satisfied with the sample product you received and would want to proceed with a wholesale order. However, because you're just getting started and want to get a sense for the market, a smaller first order would be preferable. Smaller means that if a supplier requests a MOQ of 1,000 pieces, you can reasonably request a reduction to 500 or even 300 units. Alternatively, if the MOQ is 2,000 units, you can usually negotiate it down to 1,000 or even 500. Even smaller MOQs are possible in some situations, although most suppliers won't accept orders of 100 pieces if the minimum is 500. If you can only afford to acquire 100 pieces of a product, you must consider whether your purchasing power is sufficient. MOQs could be as low as 50 or even 20 units, unless the item is bulkier and more expensive. However, you will typically need to purchase anywhere from 300 to 1,000 units at a time. Of course, you'll need to consider shipping costs and how a lesser order may affect your bottom line. The lower the cost per unit is, the more units you ship at once. This is why you should be cautious about cutting the MOQ too low, as doing so will raise your overall cost per item. However, you should not be hesitant to request lower MOQs. This is standard procedure, and they will not defend a supply in any way. Naturally, not all suppliers will agree, but you'll never know unless you ask. Suppliers will sometimes agree to a smaller initial order in exchange for a little higher price. If the increase isn't significant, go ahead and order it, knowing that the price will drop in the future when you can get more at once. Number 3. MOQ for branding. This entails imprinting your company's logo on the products. Manufacturers may require a minimum order to execute custom branding for you, depending on the technology utilized to add your logo to the product. That number, however, is usually the same as the overall minimum order quantity. If you can stick to 300 or 500 units, a supplier should be able to help you with branding. For orders of a specific amount, certain suppliers will include complementary branding. This is something you'll need to figure out. It can be worth increasing your order size to avoid paying extra for branding. And this is something that you can work out. If a supplier says branding is free with purchases of 1,000 units or more, but you only want 500, see if you can still persuade them to incorporate your logo for free. Number 4. Custom packaging. The majority of suppliers will gladly create custom packaging for you. However, it will almost always be at an additional expense, especially for smaller orders. There may be a minimum order requirement of, say, 1,000 boxes to be printed for you. It will, for example, cost $200. Custom packaging is typically not done in-house by suppliers. Instead, it is outsourced to companies who specialize in printing package materials. However, if a supplier specifies the minimum order quantity for custom packaging is 1,000 units, but your order is only for 500, you can still order 1,000 pieces of custom packaging, utilize 500 on your first order, and ask the supplier to hold the remaining 500 for your second order. This will be no problem for most suppliers. The larger your order, the more negotiating leverage you will have. If your purchase is in the thousands of units, you should try to negotiate significant discounts on packing materials and possibly have it included for free. It is depending on the packaging. Simple plastic or cardboard boxes, on the other hand, are quite cheap in China. So, if you need a lot of them, they could be prepared to pay for the low cost per unit. The most important thing to remember here is to do everything you can to negotiate custom packaging conditions and pricing, so you can acquire it no matter how little your purchase is. Because custom packaging elevates your product and your Amazon listing to new heights. That's all there is to it. These are the most crucial points you should try to negotiate with your supplier. You should do this once you've received samples from all of your suppliers, since you'll be able to use them as leverage in your negotiations. Suppliers in China typically do not want to lose business to competitors. And this is the most effective way to demonstrate your seriousness and desire for a long-term business connection. In that vein, you should use that long-term card whenever possible. Small orders from one-time customers are not a priority for Chinese suppliers. They are particularly interested in clients who place repeat orders and orders that grow in quantity over time. As a result, always highlight that you're only getting started but have big plans for the brand and items in the UK market. The UK market is important to highlight because many suppliers will have clients and a strong presence in Asia and the United States, but not so much in the United Kingdom and Europe in general. They also wish to grow their business, and new clientele from all parts of the world are always welcome. If you can move enough volume each month, you may be able to become an exclusive seller for an item in your nation. Quick tip. Just remember to keep product quality in mind. People are sometimes overjoyed that they have found an exceptional low price on a product, only to discover later that the quality is poor. Don't be one of those people. When price is only a minor part of your overall costs, don't prioritize it. Congratulations! You've just completed this topic. See you in the next lesson.